Hi, and welcome to this week's reflection and meditation video. Many of you know me from practicing yoga with me, and this week's exercise is something that is often found at the end of a restorative yoga class. We're going to be taking a full body scan, so progressively bringing our attention, our awareness to different parts of the body in turn. Now that can be useful because when we're paying attention to the whole, we're thinking about being aware of our whole bodies, that can feel overwhelming, or we don't know where to start, or our attention is naturally drawn to those areas that are already a bit sore or stiff, or maybe demanding that attention from us. We might then overlook the areas that feel free, that feel light or have space, because we're only focusing on those bits that are sort of calling out for our attention. And there is wisdom to be found in paying attention to the body, to all different parts of the body, even those little small bits that we might not normally pay attention to. So I think it's worth breaking down and going step by step through the body. Now, the really important thing is that you find somewhere that you're comfortable. So you could be on a bed, you could be on a yoga mat, anywhere that really works for you, where you're least likely to be distracted. I'm going to be here on my yoga mat. You may need to pause the video if you're changing your setup, but I'm going to come and bring myself down to a laying down, reclined position. So I think support for your head might be something you're thinking about. For me, I'm going to have my cushion behind my knees so that I have a bit of support for my lower back. I notice when I lie down, and this is something that's very common, that my lower back is quite far away from the floor. And that can be absolutely fine, that's the shape of your spine. It can be a little bit tight for some of us, it might feel a bit uncomfortable. So it could be that you bring your feet in and you notice your lower back goes flat on the floor, or if you slide a cushion behind your knees, that might give you just that little bit of extra support. Now, lengthening the head, so the neck is nice and long. Lengthening the head, the crown of the head moving back, the feet moving away, and then relax the legs. So when your hips, the front of your legs are relaxed, and your glutes are nice and soft, your feet will flop out, the heels will be in, the toes will be turned out. And then let the palms face up towards the sky, so that the shoulders are nice and open, so there's no internal rotation, we're softening across the chest, giving ourselves the best chance to feel free in the body. Good, and notice now as you're laying the weight of the body into the mat or the mattress or the floor, wherever you might be. Can you let go of any tension through the legs, through the arms, through the fingers, the palms, through the face, the area around the eyes, the throat, and let your breath be as it is. So before we start the progressive movement of our awareness up the body, a full body scan, just notice the breath first of all. Because whilst our attention may move, that could be deliberate, it could be without our conscious choice, our breath is always moving. And observing that shape change doesn't require us to control it. It's passive, it's an observation of the movement that is. Your eyes can be open or closed, whichever helps you feel more connected into your body rather than wandering off elsewhere. Start now to become aware of the feet without moving them, without controlling them. Noticing the way that the feet lay on the floor, on the mat, on the bed, on the sofa. Where can you feel the weight? Through the heels and through the rest of the foot. Can you notice the stillness? That we're not travelling anywhere on our feet, just being where we are. And moving that awareness up to the lower leg, the calves wrapping around the backs of the legs, the shins on the front. And maybe you can imagine almost like a band of light or even warmth of your awareness directed to this lower part of your leg. Moving up towards the knee region. And that structure, maybe there's a soft bend in your knees. Letting it relax. And almost like all those structures within your knee, around the knee joint, the ligaments, the capsule, the cartilage, everything just suspended. Moving up towards the upper leg, these large muscle groups, the front of your legs, the hamstrings on the back of the legs, and maybe noticing the weight of those big muscles attached to the bone, but relaxing away from the bone. And then can you wrap your awareness around the upper inner thigh, around the glutes, and then the front of the hip, and the whole pelvic bowl rested down heavy. And how those muscles insert up into the pelvic bowl from the front of the leg, the back of the leg. And then moving that up into your lower belly and around the lower back, which may be a tiny bit off the floor. Noticing how the shape change of the breath is really more obvious here than in your lower body. Letting your abdomen be soft. Letting it take up the space that it takes up. Feeling the movement of your awareness now up towards the diaphragm, just below the rib cage. And how perhaps it's difficult to separate these parts of the body now as the breath moves in tandem. Abdominal cavity, thoracic cavity, diaphragm. And the ribs moving with the breath, on the inhale filling up, on the exhale flattening out, and the weight on the upper back, the shoulder blades into the floor, into the earth, wherever you're lying. feeling the breadth across the upper chest, from one shoulder to the other, across the collarbones, soft and heavy down through the back of the shoulders. And then can you travel that awareness into your fingertips? And notice the palms of the hands, the backs of the hands, the tension or the ease through the hands. Fingers are neither outstretched and reaching, nor are they clenched in and grasping. They are just there, curled up, relaxed. Bringing our awareness around the wrists and up into the forearms. Moving up towards the elbows, the soft inside of the elbows, the heavy backs of the elbows, and the back of the upper arm. Feeling where the weight drops through the upper arm and into the shoulder, but is open through the insides of the arms, up into the front of the chest. And now moving that band of awareness from the upper chest, the upper back, into the neck. And can you soften the throat? Can you let the tongue drop into the lower mouth? And maybe as your jaw relaxes, your lower lip drops from your upper lip, your lower jaw slides down towards the earth, and possibly your lips open, even just a tiny bit. And all those muscles associated with language, relaxing, letting go. And feeling the weight through the back of the skull and how your head is perfectly balanced without having to even do anything. And across the front of the cheeks, the nose, and then the eyes. The space behind the eyes relaxed. The space around the eyes and between the eyes. Not searching to see anything. Not closing our eyes tight so as to not see anything. Maybe even when your eyes are completely relaxed, your eyelids may slightly open. And could you slowly relax around the scalp, from the back of the head where it's rested, all the way around the temples and across the forehead. Feeling maybe a band of light or awareness circling around the skull, moving that all the way to the very crown of the head. And all the while noticing the breath. in and out, in and out. And then holding the whole body in that awareness, from the bottom, the feet, all the way through the legs, the knees, the upper leg, the pelvic bowl, the abdomen, the back, the rib cage, the chest, the arms, all the way up through the skull to the crown of the head, held in that awareness, whether that's a pool of light or warmth, or just your attention. And start to breathe into that, almost from bottom to top, as you inhale and exhale, and start to make that breath a little more deliberate, a little bigger, more nourishing. As you inhale, pulling up, and exhale, washing out, like you're pulling up from bottom to top. And washing out, and all the time held in your awareness. Take another big breath in. This time open the mouth and sigh out. Good, and then start to move, maybe the feet. That might move the front of the leg and the back of the head or the hands. It doesn't have to be progressive. Maybe you can take a full body stretch, reaching the arms back, the toes forwards. Take a big breath in. And breathing out. When you're ready, bringing your knees in towards the chest. You might hug the knees in. Good. And making small movements of your lower back on the floor, noticing how we can pay attention to small parts of the body, but the body works as one, as a whole. Good, and slowly dropping your weight over to one side. So you're coming almost into a fetal position. If you can, if you have space where you're taking this exercise, be careful if you're on a couch, not to fall off. And supporting your head here, pushing down through your supporting hand and slowly coming around to find a seated upright position. So you might be cross-legged, you might be on a chair, on the edge of a sofa. Good. And taking a moment to find your bearings. Getting used to the changing position of the spine away from the floor. Eyes can be open or closed. Good, and to finish here, almost as we were drawing our body, wrapping our body in our own attention, we're wrapping ourselves into a circular movement with the arms. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Good, exhale, hands through prayer. 2 more like this. Inhale, reach out, reach up. Exhale, hands down through prayer. Bathing ourselves in our own awareness. Last time, reach out, reach up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. Slowly. And ending this practice, if you wish, as we would in a yoga class, saying Namaste. Namaste. Good, and you can move around a little bit before you go on with the rest of your day. So for reference, that word Namaste is a sign of respect to ourselves, to each other in this virtual world, and also to the traditions of yoga from which that exercise that we did today was taken. And it roughly translates as the light in me honours the light in you, or recognises that light in you. And maybe you had an experience during this exercise of bathing your body in the light of your own awareness, and perhaps it's that capacity to be aware that is the light within me that honours the light within you. Thank you very much for taking this practice, and I hope you have a great rest of the day and week.